Hi, Lori, GLP-1 Journey in Review. How's everybody's day going? Here it is. It's almost the new year. I just have to put my earbuds in. Give me a second here. Just wanted to have a quick live to see how everybody's year went, to see if anybody has made any New Year's resolutions. I know I personally, I am trying to work out a little bit more. If I can't at the gym, I bought some little home equipment. I've had some. I've got a seated elliptical, and I also just got some machine that you kind of go back and forth for core. I've got some workout chair, and I've got some weights and a yoga mat, and gonna do some stretches and just some simple weights. I think I have a ball someplace to help along with that. Uh, Again, I'm a pretty busy person, and usually, if I don't have time to go to the gym, it's because I'm working that day. But if I could just do something for about 15 minutes, I know I'll feel better, even if, like I said, it's, while I'm watching some news, the little seated elliptical machine or some dumbbells, or like I said, even stretch out that yoga mat and do some stretches. I think that'll help. So, that's one of my basic plan. My other is to drink more water. So far today, I've drank 2 bottles. I've got one more bottle that I want to drink, and the rest of it, like right here, I have a Profi. I usually have an iced tea during the day or a soda. I plan on actually having a little bit more water. Also, because I was watching so much what I eat, I haven't been going out quite as much as I would like. So I'm going to work on that and try to be more social because I do know that there's plenty of things I could eat at restaurants, plenty of things I could do. We're talking about maybe going to a movie tomorrow. I do have to work, but afterwards we might go to a movie. I could actually have some plain popcorn if I want. I know it's a little bit saltier than normal, but I'm okay with salt because my blood pressure is now back under control. I don't have to take my blood pressure medication, so I could do things like that. I also want to visit friends. Like I said, go to dinner a little bit more than I was. A lot of that isn't so much from the eating, it's because I've been working so much. I do plan this year not to quite work as much if I could help it. Uh, Again, that's kind of hard. Right now, we've hired a couple new people. Whether they stay or not, that's a whole different story, and that may play a part in it. So, again, we'll have to see. Um, that's, pretty much my New Year's resolutions and what I want to do. I apologize if I sound a little more nasally than normal. I'm kind of getting over some sinusitis. At first, I thought it was a flu, but when the antibiotic kicked in immediately, I realized it was probably more sinusitis. I'm just a person that's prone to sinusitis because I have a little problem with my septum, so it makes me a little bit more prone to sinusitis. Uh, One doctor told me it was the flu. Who knows? It's either way. Was a little under the weather, but still worked, still trucked on, still did what I had to do, and that's pretty much been my story. Working on some videos. I have a couple products that I'm going to review that's coming out. I also have one I just had one coming out on my goals that came out yesterday. I have some top questions that were asked me over the last several months that rather than do it on a live, because I don't get huge turnouts on my live, more from replay, I decided to just do a video on it and answer the questions. I had one sub that asked me to review my journey, so that video is in the works. I just have some more editing to do on it, but basically, I pretty much have filmed it. I may have to edit in a part or two as I go ahead and do the replay. We'll have to see. And that's what I'm doing. I'm cutting back a little bit on my interviews because I don't want to be an interview only channel. So some weeks I'll have one, some weeks I'll have two, see how it goes. Uh, Again, I enjoy doing them. People want to do them, but I don't want to be known as um, an only interview channel. Raquel, thank you. So glad that you're getting little bit more. It's so important to have balance. I've barely been out this year, and that's let's see, and it's one of mine to enjoy life a little bit more. Happy New Year's when it rings out. Thank you very much, Raquel. Same to you and Terrence. Have a great New Year. Hey, Michelle, thanks for joining us. Happy New Year to you. I guess I'll be talking to you a little bit later. Again, I just wanted to hop on and do a live and you know tell you what's coming for the channel. Like I said, just a quick review again. Couple product reviews. Uh, Questions coming out that are. I think that one's actually due to come out tomorrow. If any of you have any suggestions or would like me to cover certain topics, obviously, if you put them in the topics, sorry, in the comments, or if you email me my email information, let me put this to you in the chat. Sorry, having a little bit of difficulty with my bar here. There we go. Let me put this in here. I haven't learned how to type and talk at the same time. So there we go. That's one of them. The other one is GLP-1 Journey in Review at yahoo.com. I always love hearing from you. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. And that's pretty much, I'm going to pop up that email. There's my email. And I will steer this channel, whatever guys you want me to. Like I said, sometimes I think it's just too much on the interviews. I'm trying to cut back a little bit on the time, just because I don't like inconveniencing some of these people that long. I don't really think I'm inconveniencing them, but uh, I know sometimes my attention span, I don't necessarily want to watch something for a full hour. So I'm trying to cut them back to about 45, 50 minutes, when I can. Sometimes I just get off on a tangent, or so does the other person. And it just happens. So we'll have to see how that goes. An interview coming up. I'm interviewing some people from the carnivore community, and again, I don't do carnivore. I do low carb, high protein. Some people say that if you're 70 to 80% protein, it's almost like carnivore, but it's not true carnivore. I just want people to know that there are other options out there. And I do know people that are carnivore and also on a GLP-1. I'm going to try to see if I could interview them because, everybody's journey is different. And interviewing some of these carnivore people, I've learned something about the proteins and, more importantly, the fat with the protein, and sometimes how important that actually is, whether you're carnivore or not. Hey, Mary Alice, good morning. Happy New Year's Eve to you too. I hope you have a great New Year. I'm really not planning on doing anything. I am working tomorrow. They offered me triple time, and I really couldn't refuse that. So I'm almost already going back on one of my New Year's resolutions is to not quite work so much, but it's only a 6-hour thing, and I'm trying not to pick up more than one day per week extra, so that I'll still have 3 days off instead of 4 days. Hopefully they'll be together. If they're not, that's okay. You guys are saying hi to each other. Hey everybody, glad you could join. And let's talk about this last year that was. For me, it was a year in maintenance. I've learned a lot. I've learned how difficult maintenance could actually be. You'd think it would be easy because we're used to it. I don't want to lose any more weight. Well, sometimes I do if I get gain a couple pounds on the maintenance, but I'm really working at staying the same. I know nobody's going to stay the same. It's kind of an up and down thing. But when I see that I'm getting up a little bit more than what I would like, then I kind of want to lose a pound or two. And it's really not, uh, that big of a difference because, I usually add like 150 calories to my diet when I'm on maintenance as to when I'm losing. Hey, Allie, he's saying, hey, Lori, Happy New Year. When it comes around, thank you. Great to collab with you this year. Allie is one of my favorite YouTubers, Manjaro with Ali. If you haven't gone to his channel and subscribed, do yourself a favor. It's a great, great channel. He has some really interesting takes on things, and he's a really smart guy, and he does some really good videos. And not only are they informative, they're also entertaining. And he's a great editor. He's got great thumbnails. I tell him that all the time. I wish I had that talent. So, Manjaro with Ali, make sure that you go check it out. If you type in hashtag GLP1, your channel name will come up on the comments, and it'll be a clickable link to people. Let me see what else people are saying here. Terrence is asking, when are you going to do a Star Trek channel? Is he a bit of a Trekkie? I've done some Star Trek on my other channel. Did you see this show? And I did a couple of the, um, not reviews, basically what it was about, and a little bit of a review. And again, one final year of actually 2 seasons of Strange New Worlds because it's a 5-year mission, and they just finished season 3. They've actually taped 4, and they're in the middle of taping season 5. And there's some new ones. I think Starfleet Academy is coming out. So just a little bit on that. If any of you are Trekkies, I'll admit I am. So yeah, I think I've done that one already. You guys are just chatting with each other, so that's good. So yeah, I'm not doing quite as much on my other channel because I'm just too busy. Yeah, something had to give, and I decided, okay, I'm only going to do one video a week on that channel just to keep it going. But uh, you know, I really love the GLP-1 community, and I really like helping them. So back to the maintenance. So maintenance, not to be cliche, but it has its ups and downs. Kind of a joke in there, but not really, because it is kind of an up and down thing. And when I went away on vacation, yeah, I wasn't quite as good. Christmas, I wasn't quite as good as I could have been. Nothing too bad. I think I gained like a pound and a half. And I'm trying to stick to my little range. And I'll admit I get to the top of it sometimes, and I try to lose some of that weight back so that, like I said, my goal weight was 118. For the life of me, for the last 3 months, I have not been able to hit 118. I don't know if my body's gone through changes, or if it's from being sick or whatever, but it seems like 119.8 or basically 120 is like my new norm. I'm sort of okay with it, because it's still in my range. I'd like to, find out why I can't get back down to 118, but I'm not going to lose too much sleep over it, because it's still in my range. My range is I really haven't gotten too much lower than 118 ever, so it's basically 118 to about 123. And like I said, when I start hitting that 122-ish, time to lose, the 2 pounds, or at least watch it. And if I pretty much watch it, I'm gonna lose it maybe slowly. Like when I came back from vacation and I was at the end of it, I think it took me like 4 weeks to lose the 2 pounds, which was fine. That's I didn't, you know, I was good. Was I 100% good? No, but I was like 98% good, which is fine because, like I said, this is a way of life now, and I'm never going to be 100% good. I don't know about you guys, but I know I'm not going to be 100% good. And again, everything is moderation. Love to hear what Allie thinks and I think Mary Alice, both of you are in maintenance. I think Michelle, you're in maintenance also. Are you 100% good? Uh, do you like worry when a couple pounds sneaks up on you? Uh, Love to hear what your opinions are on that. Just let me know in the comments or shoot me an email. Um, Raquel, I don't know if you're in maintenance or Terrence is in maintenance yet. Um, I've looked at some of Terrence's videos. He's got some really good ideas for some recipes. Again, I'm a little turkeyed out, so it was a little bit hard watching some of this turkey things, but I realized, you could add other stuff instead of turkey. And I'll probably go back to them, when I'm not quite over turkey because I had turkey Thanksgiving and then I think it was just last week, the week of Christmas, I made turkey again. I didn't make turkey for Christmas, but I made it, I think, a couple days earlier. And again, I think having turkey twice in a 4 week span was a little too much because yes, there were a little bit of leftovers. Only made a small boneless turkey breast, so there really wasn't a lot of leftovers. Uh, for the reason of all the food at work, I'm kind of glad that the holiday season is over because I'll admit it was a little tempting, when people brought in, yeah, I could forgo the donuts and the store bought cookies and stuff like that, but the homemade stuff was a little bit tempting. Most of the time, I was good and passed on it, but it was a little tempting. People don't bring quite so much, and like our work had some food catered. Hard to turn down a free meal. I did go for the proteins. They weren't quite as healthy of a protein, cooked healthily. Healthily? I'm making up words now. A quick. They weren't cooked quite as healthy as I would have cooked them, but hey, protein's protein, and it really wasn't bad. Like I said, again, this is a way of life. None of us are going to be 100%. And I can't expect people to be 100% and stick to it. I think that's been problems with diets in the past, the fad diets especially, even Weight Watchers, and all these is, yes, we all know how to lose weight, and yes, all these could lose weight, but what happens when you're done as far as maintenance? That's where all these things in the past have failed because we all put it back on and sometimes some more, or we wouldn't have turned to GLP-1 medication in the first place because we would have lost it and been able to keep it off. So the fact that we have maintenance, people are working on maintenance, people are working on maintenance plans, they're sharing their maintenance journey so that we can learn something from it, is a good thing. Like I said, for me, I've added about 100 calories or so a day. Not every day, but most days. I'm trying not to increase my portions because that doesn't really help. But like in my morning smoothie, sometimes I'll add some yogurt. Um, I will say sometimes I will have an extra piece of fruit or something, but that's not even a big deal calorie wise or anything like that. And I probably am eating a little bit more carbs than I was when I was in my uh, losing weight phase of my GLP-1 journey. Uh, because now I'll have some rice or a potato, once or twice a week, where before, like if I had it once every other week, That was a lot. Now, there were carbs in some of the foods that I ate, and I was getting carbs because my dinners when I work are from Factor Meals, the GLP-1 friendly or keto friendly, and they are lower carb, but sometimes they do have some rice. Most of the time, they have some sort of carb, like a little bit of rice or a little bit of mashed potatoes, or a little bit of some sort of potato. But we're talking maybe like 2-3 tablespoons worth, just enough so that you could have the taste and that you could actually have the carbs and get that out of your system or into your system, so to speak. And that's how pretty much I was getting my carbs, other than the natural carbs that came in vegetables and fruits, because I am big on fresh fruit, especially since I have a farmer's market about a mile away from my house. And my favorite happens to be honeydew, and they're getting honeydew. It's actually called Dino Melon, and I think they're getting it from Brazil now because that's where it is in season, as opposed to here. It's not in season and not very good. So they always have some sort of fresh fruit other than just your typical pineapple, grapes, and stuff like that. They do get the melons, and they'll get them from other parts of the world so that they're fresh. They do charge $1 or $2 more for that. I don't know if tariffs have anything to do with that. I don't know if there's tariffs on food, but shipping, it probably does cost more to get it. It's not like in the summertime here we're getting it locally. We are getting it from Brazil or other countries, and I'm sure it costs to get it in. But I personally buy it cut up because I'll admit it, I'm too lazy to cut up my fruit. If As long as I could afford it, I'm going to buy it cut up just for convenience and ease. Just like I'll admit, when I go to the store for my fresh vegetables, I do get fresh vegetables, but I tend to get them in the bag ready to go into the microwave. Even though I do have a microwave steamer, I don't buy the whole one, cut it up, put it in there, put it with the water, cook it for the 4 minutes, let it sit 2 minutes. I just don't right now have the patience for that. Um, Again, because I'm usually pretty busy, working on my channels, working at work, doing stuff with my wife, trying to have somewhat of a social life and so forth, working out, that type of thing. So I do take some shortcuts. Uh, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you're more comfortable or want to save money by doing it yourself, by all means, do it. I'm all for saving money. I just, it's like I said, as long as I'm working this overtime and as long as I could afford it, I'm going to take these shortcuts while I can. So, that's just me. It's just like when I make quinoa and brown rice, they have one in a little 90-second bag at the grocery store. I do that because I'll pay for the convenience. I know it's probably not as 100% healthy as if you did it yourself and steamed both of them yourself, but it's a lot more work. And I know me, I'm just not going to do it if it's too much work. Um, Maybe when I do finally retire, and again, I don't know when that is because I'm not the type of person that just sits at home and does nothing. I'll hopefully be doing some channels and stuff like that when I'm retired because it would just drive me crazy. But anyhow, maybe when I do have a little more time and I'm not working 40, 50, 60 hours of work a week, maybe I will do it myself. Who knows? Like I said, as long as I'm working, as long as this extra money's coming in, I'm going to take these shortcuts. And I take shortcuts with meal prepping. Today, I bought some grilled chicken at the deli, along, uh, excuse me, uh, along with some turkey loaf that I'm gonna have for my lunches for this week. Alternate them, and has probably some salad with that. And I don't really have to meal prep because they did it for me. Yes, I'm paying a little bit extra, um, I did talk to them as to what's in there because the owner is there a lot, and I'm at that store a lot, so I talk to him now and then. And they make it with all regular normal ingredients. Do they maybe use a little more salt than I would? Maybe, but that's the price if you don't want to meal prep yourself. So, that's how my 2026 went. Anybody have any comments on how I'm sorry, that's how my 2025, I know what year it is. That's how my 2025 has gone. So, uh, again, maybe I'll blame it on the strong antibiotics that I'm on for my sinusitis. Um, sounds good. Why not blame that? So 2026, am I going to do some more meal prepping myself? Yeah, it would be nice. Just, hopefully I'll have the time. I do enjoy simple things like making my own turkey loaf or my own meatloaf to have for lunches. Uh, I think I'm going to go back to a lot of shrimp stuff because I buy the cooked shrimp already on sale, and it's in my freezer. I could literally just take out like 5 or 6 of them that morning, put them in a little baggie, salad, and by the time my lunch rolls around, they'll be defrosted and throw them into there. So I'll plan on doing something like that. Might even do something different with the shrimp. Seafood for lunch. I know people complain because sometimes you heat it up, and first of all, the microwave kind of makes them chewy anyhow. But they're like, "Oh, who's cooking seafood? It smells." So it's like I try to keep it like a shrimp salad, something along those lines, so that I don't really have to heat it up. But that's just me. So again, I just wanted to jump on here, have a quick live, say hi to everybody, and tell you how the channel's going. Uh, been a little bit slower lately. I guess December, January, and February are YouTube slower months, so they say, and that's what the experts say. Don't know why, but I guess more people in summer and spring just have more time for TV. And a lot of people have switched their TV strictly to YouTube because you could find almost anything you want on YouTube. I know I do a lot of research on it. I want to give a special thanks to Joe out there. Uh, Joe's Sleep and Slim Down. She's given me a couple of the carnivore people to interview, and it's been very interesting. Again, I know a lot of you, or most of you, probably aren't carnivore, but I learned a lot about the protein and their way of eating and some of their theories. And there's more than one way to do things. Am I going to ever be 100% carnivore? Probably not. But, like I said, I do high protein, very low carb a lot. And I've learned something about picking the proteins and when to have the proteins and why to have the proteins from them. And if you're not getting carbs, how you could overcome the constipation because they don't really eat carbs. And it's good to get other perspectives on how to do things because there's more than one way to lose weight. There's more than one way to get healthy, and my version of healthy may not be their version. And again, you pick a little piece from that, a little piece from this person, and a little piece from this person, and you create your own journey. And that's what all my interviews are for. That's why I do all this channel hopping to see what I could learn from some people. I'm not afraid of shortcuts. Some people absolutely are, because they're like, oh no, because that's a processed food. Well, let me tell you one thing. All our smoothies are processed food. You have to pick and choose which are the ones that you should have and which are the ones that you shouldn't have. My idea is just to keep them lower, because it's this is a world where processed food is everywhere. So, you know, it's really hard to not have any processed foods. So, you know, I just try to limit them. Yes, I'll have my smoothie or my Profi. I'll even have stuff like chips and crackers, but to a minimum. And I try to get, the cauliflower crackers when I do, and so forth. Just making smarter choices. I think that's what my journey, and I'm sure that's what a lot of people's journeys are, is let's keep our choices healthier because one, we're going to stay on this long term. Two, we want to make it as healthy as possible, and we want it to be sustainable. If somebody told me you're never going to have another chip again, just that I couldn't get that thought out of my mind. And let me tell you, from interviewing people in the carnivore world, some of them crave carbs or pizza or things like that a lot. And sometimes they're like, it really gets annoying. Where, like, one reason why I like the lifestyle that I've chosen is I was originally going to have pizza for lunch today, a cauliflower pizza, because it wasn't super high in carbs. And yes, it was frozen and processed, but the calorie count, I think, was like half it was a pizza for two. Half the pizza, I think, was like 300 calories, which is good for lunch. And, the carbs weren't super outrageous because it was a cauliflower crust. Uh, because been watching all this TV lately, and they've been having pizza commercials, and I'm like, haven't done pizza in a while. So if I'm going to do pizza, why not do a healthier version? This is the type of thing that's going to help you stay on your journey longer. Is just substitute with healthier choices, and that's what I've been doing. Maintenance, like I said, I'm still doing that with maintenance. And the things that I normally wouldn't do, I'll do once in a while. For example, we're going to be watching a football game. I got some chicken wings, Mm. They're going to be in the air fryer as opposed to deep fried. And I'll use a sugar-free sauce on them. But I was in the mood for chicken wings because to me, sometimes chicken wings goes along with football. And I'm just going to make a healthier version and a healthier choice of doing it. Am I going to do this every day? I think this is the first time in a year that I've done chicken wings. So, no, it's, not a bad thing. So now that I've kind of updated you on my journey, what I plan on doing in 2026, at least for the first part of it, and updated you on some of the videos, I want to wish everybody a happy and healthy new year. And I want to thank you all for coming to the live. I know most of you will actually see this on the repeat, and that's fine. I just wanted to check in and tell you all that I really appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help. Tell your friends about the channel. And if you content creators, hashtag GLP1, your channel come up. I could put it in the description. Love to hear from you. I always appreciate you. And like I said, I will let you guys help me guide the way you want this channel to go. And, I'm here to help you. Helping you helps me. And this all kind of keeps me honest and so forth. And I really appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in, and make sure that you have a healthy and happy new year, and don't drink too much.